Al, if Al Cartwright were here, I would say, Al, you're well into your 90s and you're retired. But the world you created and the legacy you've created in Delaware sports is an infrastructure that has survived 30 years beyond your retirement at the News Journal and promises to last for decades to come. Al, you created, among other things, the whole structure of professionalized coverage of local sports in Delaware. At the same time, you had a worldwide vision. You went to Japan with the Baltimore Orioles. You covered the 1964 Olympics in Japan and brought Wilmington's newspapers into the Baltimore and Philadelphia orbit. But above all, you created something here in Delaware. You agitated for the legalization of conferences, the creation of the Delaware State Golf Association, the Wilmington Sports Writers and Broadcasters Association, which has just held its 63rd banquet, selecting annual award winners in all the sports. You created all-state teams. You created suburban swim leagues. You created the conditions that help facilitate the full integration racially of sporting activities here in Delaware. And a high grade of writing. So many of the reporters and editors whom you recruited here to Wilmington eluded your grasp because they went on to Washington, Detroit, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia, not to mention a few in New York. You have a hardcover legacy as well. In the library, we have several of your books. A la carte, a collection of your great columns, and probably the definitive book on Delaware's greatest football coach, simply named Tubby. You're a family man. Other people talk about you actually did find time to be a Little League coach for your son, and he and each of your three daughters is a professional success in their own right. You lived in what Ralph Moyad used to call suburban Claymont, and from that castle in Ashburn Hills, you raised a great family. You've been successfully married twice, the hard way. I know that after your wife died in 1983, you wrote a column in the Evening Journal in 1984 that made many people part with their emotions on the loneliness you felt months, indeed a year after her passing, but you were lucky enough to meet Betty and are in her good care as you take this baton halfway through your 10th decade. Delaware Today played a very important part in bridging my two careers. I am, in ascending order of time, investment, and income, a sports writer and a lawyer. While I was in law school in the 1970s, I was the Delaware correspondent for the Philadelphia Inquirer's sports department. My charge was to write about high school sports, but there were sporting trends in Delaware that were too significant to ignore, but unrelated to high schools. So first Jim Panyard, then Kerry DeSantis, then John Taylor, then Peter Mucha found the opportunity to open the pages of Delaware Today for my articles, which would range from horse racing to Major League Baseball to jogging to Olympic and frankly some non-sports activities as well. Delaware Today was at times investigative, it would explore trends that would be overlooked. Every state needs a monthly periodical to go with its two newspapers. It was and continues to be a training ground for feature writers on their way up or feature writers on their way out of daily news journalism. Its graphics have always been superior. Pulitzer Prize winners like Keith Myers and Kevin Fleming have had their work displayed here. And I think under Rob Martinelli has matured very nicely in his, oh my goodness, 30 years of stewardship.